Wow, here we are, the last final speaker. In 2015, Arlington County said it would look at single-family zoning laws. A year later, groups like AHS began having community conversations and forums on what expanded housing options could look like in Arlington. It will be almost 10 years if this passes tomorrow before we see the first version of expanded housing option since the conversation started. I'm Mike Hemminger. I'm a homeowner here in Arlington. I'm on the Housing Commission. I'm on the home ownership study currently underway in Arlington. But tonight I'm here to speak in my capacity as the president of the NAACP, the largest and oldest civil rights organization in America. I want to start by expressing my gratitude to staff and consultants and the commissioners who have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on this. Some have claimed that the process was rushed and not enough time was given. We know that's not true. Groups like the NAACP and many others behind me have been following this from the very beginning. In fact, the NAACP has been following this for almost 100 years when the first initial restrictive housing practices like banning row houses took place at a time in Arlington when it was 38% Black. Today, Arlington is only 9% Black and getting smaller each year. It's well established that Black Americans today have accumulated only 1/10 of the wealth that white Americans have. We know that the federal government has taken explicit action to prevent Black people like myself from ever owning a home. We also know that when de jure segregation was banned, localities like Arlington began using different tools to accomplish the same effect. There are deed restrictions across this county that exist even today that say things like Black people shall never be allowed to own here. The Black-white homeownership disparity is 5% larger today than it was 100 years ago. For decades, white Americans began amassing wealth by way of homeownership equity and appreciation. Restrictive housing practices are one of the greatest forms of segregation still persisting today. We know the whole region and regions across the entire country are watching Arlington tonight. Even now, the General Counsel of the NAACP is watching and waiting. In an extremely rare move, the Office of General Counsel has weighed in on this issue. The last time we saw this level of involvement from the national NAACP was when we filed a lawsuit against Arlington, and Arlington became the first jurisdiction in Virginia to integrate our schools. I want to close by saying, in 50 years, what do you want to be remembered for? How do you want your grandchildren to remember your time on this board? On behalf of the NAACP, I'm calling on you to pass the most expansive version of EHO. To close, Barack Obama said, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we see. Thank you so much.
Okay.